Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. I'm Brianna. So today we're gonna do our makeup and yap. I was single for 3 years without dating, and I want to talk about it. We're gonna unpack it. We're gonna talk about it, my feelings, my perspective, just everything. So if you're interested, keep watching. So I'm putting y'all in my business today. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about, but I feel like I have to kind of go through things and get through it before I can like publicly talk about it. And I also want to clarify that this video is for the girls and the girls only. I was single for 3 years and did not date. So I want to come talk about it because I feel like there are so many single women who, you know, have the same story as me. They may be looking for some advice. They may be looking for a different perspective. So this is why I wanted to come talk about this today. This is going to be all about me and my experience being single for 3 years without dating. Quick backstory so that you guys can kind of understand where I was coming from in my single season and like what I was dealing with. So I had been in a really long-term relationship, and obviously I was young. Well, it's not obvious, but during that time I was young, and I feel like just looking back at that right now, I would definitely tell my daughter, if God blesses me with one, not to be too serious in relations when you're like young, you know, high school, even I would say a little bit of college. I feel like college is a good time to kind of get serious with somebody, but definitely high school, I don't know. I just feel like those are your golden years, and you should not be like in something that's so serious, or if so, just try to pick the right guy. Even with you being so young, obviously that's hard, but I was in a long-term relationship, and by the time I moved to Atlanta, because I'm from Florida, so by the time I moved to Atlanta, that was near the end of that relationship. And honestly, the relationship should have ended way before it ended, but I'm a helper. I like to help people, and I just like to fix things for some reason. And a lot of that relationship was me doing that, like trying to fix things, trying to be there for others, trying to just kind of be like the hero in a sense. And during that time, because I was trying to be this helper, I was definitely like neglecting my dreams, my goals, the things that I wanted to do. It was very much so on the back burner, or like half, you know, assed, as people would say. And I did that because I was in a relationship. So I was trying to be there for him while also trying to be there for myself. So honestly, when that relationship ended, I was so happy. Like it was a breath of fresh air, honestly, because I was so drained for so many years, and I just wanted to be free. And I didn't even pray to God and ask him to remove him, because I knew that that was something that needed to happen and that I had to do, because if I didn't end it, it would have just carried out until whenever. But I just asked God for peace, like peace in my decision, peace with the transition, and just peace overall. And moving to Atlanta and, you know, just having new surroundings really helped. I shortly met a group of girls who became to be my really close friends, and we just had a time. Like, we all were in the like red carpet hosting space. So we would always go to events together, and it honestly just was like a great distraction from my ex situation, which I didn't even need a distraction. That's just how over it I was. But it just kind of gave me like a new drive and a new sense of self. And I will forever be grateful that God, really like told me to move to Atlanta, and I was out of that situation for good, and it was all behind me. But what I did not plan for was to be single. And honestly, I didn't even think about like being into another relationship after my relationship had ended. Like, that wasn't the first thing on my mind. But did I think it was going to be carried out as long as it was? No. And it's not to say that I was looking for somebody, but I feel like when you're in high school, when you're in college, it's kind of like easy to be in spaces with like-minded people and meet a partner, a friend, or whatever. Like, those are the easier days. But your early mid 20s, you're not in college anymore for some, and it's like you're literally adulting in the real world. And even though I was going places and stuff, I literally was never like approached by people, and I'm not a shoot your shot kind of girl. Like, that's just not my ministry. So I never did that. I was definitely in a place of self-discovery and just trying to get back to me and doing the things that I love, being more consistent with YouTube and just all the things that I loved to do that were like my outlets. And making wigs, doing hair, those were all the things that I was consumed with at the time. And shortly after my breakup, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. I was able to go fly to Chicago, all expense paid trip with a brand. And God is so funny, because I'm pretty sure if I got that opportunity when I was in the relationship that I was in, I would not have gone. And you obviously look back on these things and just so grateful. But honestly, I am literally so grateful for the timing. God's timing and everything is just so sweet and so special, because it was literally an opportunity of a lifetime. And I feel like my relationship was definitely a hindrance. It was something that would have kept me from going. I got that opportunity. So honestly, y'all, life was fantastic. Like, I was living life. I was having a ball, and I just had the best time. So being alone was something that I had practiced with my whole entire life. I was basically like an only child, because my mom had my brother when I was like 14, so 13, 14. So I was able to, grow up with just me, no other like kids or anything. Of course, my mom was there, but it was just me and her. And I knew how to entertain myself, go in my room, do my bride's doll's hair, or, I just knew how to really have a good time and enjoy my own company. So that was like, I wasn't a stranger to that. Me moving to Atlanta was such a pivotal time in my life. And after going on that brand trip and working with that brand, I was just like, okay, like, this is where life begins, and it's just me, myself, and I'm going to conquer. The only time where I did feel myself getting kind of lonely is like when I would leave my friends and we will all go home to our own apartments, and it was like, okay, obviously my friends were dating, but I did not have any stories to contribute to the dating talks. So it was like moments like that where it's like, okay, and I always felt like it'll happen. But year 1 went by, year 2 went by, And I'm just like, okay, like it's the love life has had crickets. Your single season is a time for self-discovery. It is a time where you're able to literally be so selfish and focus on yourself. And I absolutely loved that part of being single for those 3 years. Like I was just able to really do what I wanted to do on my own time. My days were full of me and like I said, my hobbies, my interests, my own problems. I didn't have to worry about anybody else's mood, so it was honestly very, very, very peaceful. Also, some of you may resonate with this, but I grew up in a single parent household. So watching my mom be by herself for my entire life, it was, I feel like my single season was very comforting because I knew that I was going to be okay because I've always seen my mom do it on her own, even with kids, and I don't have kids. So it was just honestly so freeing. And it was not unfamiliar territory. I feel like also when you're single and you are in the dating space, you have to know like what type of person you are. So I am not a dater. I'm not a serial dater. I'm not the type of person that's going to be talking to like 2 or 3 guys at one time. And I know sometimes on social media you always hear like you have to date around, date multiple people, process of elimination, but it's like I cannot do that. That's just not who I am. And I feel like sometimes social media will have you thinking that you're doing something wrong, or that you're not dating the right way, or you're not living in your single season the right way. But honestly, you guys, you really have to stay true to yourself and do what makes you feel comfortable, do what makes you happy. And also, if you are a believer, pray about it, because honestly, my discernment is on 100. And sometimes I'll come across a guy, not to say that he even asked me on a date or anything, but it's like I instantly knew that this person just did not feel right. Like I said, even if he wasn't asking me on a date, whatever, maybe he just asked me for my number, but I knew whoever these guys were, they just weren't right. So you definitely have to use discernment and be smart, because the wrong man will turn your peaceful life upside down, and you don't want those problems. And honestly, giving someone, an ounce of attention can really be a living hell. So I knew that I did not want to get myself back in that situation. So I was just very selective with who I let in my space. And like I said, I did not date this entire time. So let's get into that. So for me, I only really dated in high school, and it was easy then. Guys would just walk up to you, talk to you, show interest in you, and that was honestly the only practice that I got with dating. So honestly, it's like when I got older and now I'm single, in my mid-20s, I'm just like, what is this? Where is it going? How do you do it? I just didn't know. And because my discernment was so careful with people, it was just like, no thank you, I don't want to. And honestly, I feel like outwardly I showed that I did not want anybody talking to me. My friends would even comment and be like, girl, you be looking mean, like you don't smile, you act like you don't want the guys to come up to you. And honestly, I don't think I was doing it on purpose, but I realized that, having RBF is real, and I definitely had that. But also, more importantly, like I said, I just was careful who I let in my space. Also, dating in Atlanta is also different. I feel like being out with my friends and going to places that we went, we saw pretty much the same guys. After a while, we would see, obviously they run in the same circles, it's the same guys, and I saw how those people were moving, and I knew that I did not want any parts. I don't want to share a man with anybody. I don't want a guy that likes me and that's interested in me to be hanging out with the other guys that were in their circle, because I just knew that they weren't really what I was going for. Like, I'm more so like a low-key girl. I like a low-key guy, and that just wasn't gonna work. So obviously, because all those reasons, dating was really off the table for me. I didn't think about it. It's not something that I really wanted. I always did support my girls in their endeavors, but for me, I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to date. Dating never really was like an issue to me. I never pressed the issue. But I would say when it comes to your friends and family, like them wanting an update, like what's going on, like who are you dating? Are you dating? So I just feel like after a while, like after the years passed, it was like, okay, so what's going on? And like I said, it wasn't so much me, but definitely my friends and family were asking. So I feel like in that sense, it's like you just have to really be grounded in your decisions. You really have to be grounded in how you feel and what you want for your life, because you can really like force an issue because someone else is asking something of you. And I didn't want that, but I'm so grateful that like my mom and my dad never like asked or pressured me in the dating area, because of course your parents, their thoughts and outlook on your life is, to me, it's important. And I just love that I am accepted for who I am, and without all of life's comings, like getting married, having a baby, all these things. And not to even say that I didn't want these things for myself, because I very much did, and I very much still do. But I just feel like I don't want to force anything. And the fact that it wasn't coming at that time, it was just like, okay, I'm not going to force it. Obviously, it's something that I want. It is a desire of my heart, but I am not going to force it. So I went to Florida, like I was going very frequently. And one of my clients was just like, well, Bree, are you talking to anybody? Like, what's going on? I'm like, you know what? No, I said, guys don't really come up to me. They don't really talk to me. I don't talk to them. And, we just be chilling. I just be chilling. And she was like, you know what? I feel like God has you covered. It's like an aura over you. And people don't, it's like you're protected from God. And you know what? I was like, I think you're right. Because honestly, y'all, literally, guys just did not speak to me. I never took it personal. I never really cared, but I was just out having a good time, enjoying my friends' company and having a good time, going back home at night and, doing it all over the next day. It's like we had so much fun, and I was just so like one track minded on me, myself, and what I had going on, that it was just something that I didn't think about. But when my client said that to me, I just immediately was like, thank you, God, because I thought that was so true. And sometimes I can feel it. I can see, obviously, guys may look at me or make eye contact or something, but it was just kind of like something in between that and actually coming up to talk to me. They just never did. And honestly, if you know the Atlanta culture and how they get down, it's very transactional here, and it's very instant. It's like very like, okay, I like you, what's up, okay, we do 1, 2, 3, and then okay, we on to the next one. It's very short-lived, very much hookup culture, and that's just not something I wanted. So like I said, if you are someone that feels like, being a serial dater, or even letting like so many different men like in your space, even if it's just for a date or whatever, if that's not something that you're into, don't force yourself to do it. That was never something that I wanted to do. I'm not big on men being in my personal space. I'm not big on anybody being in my personal space, honestly. I definitely feel like there's stages to singleness. It's definitely, like the freshly single, I'm having fun, I'm not even thinking about dating. And then it becomes, okay, I may be interested in dating, or I'm more open to it now. I've had my fun, I'm more open to it now. And then comes the stage where it's like, okay, I've been single for a while. Maybe this is where I'm just supposed to be. Maybe this is my life. And I feel like I got to that where I just felt like, okay, God, maybe, a relationship is just not for me. Even though I do feel like I enjoy being in a relationship and it's definitely something that I wanted, I kind of got to the stage of like accepting that, maybe I was meant to be single. And honestly, I was sad about it. Not gonna lie. I feel like some people, when they're single, they're afraid to admit that, the way that you pictured your life when you were early 20s or even teenage girl, the way that you pictured it, it's just not happening how you imagined it happening. And I think that is a big part of being single. It's like, or honestly, it's a big part of life in general. Just realizing that life literally does not happen the way you think it's going to happen, does not unfold that way. So just finding joy in what you're given, in the cards that you're dealt, that's kind of like a grief process in itself. I just think that you have to give yourself grace and let yourself feel all the feelings. And honestly, just be grateful for that single season, because once you are, in a relationship, it's like, okay, obviously you can go back there, but relationships are hard. Really just come into grips that you have your peace now. You've learned from your past situation, and now you're just trying to be the best version of yourself. I saw on Threads where someone that was single was saying, like, I'm tired of y'all telling me to work on myself. Like, it'll come. And honestly, I get the concept, but it's so funny because being single is obviously rediscovering yourself, learning yourself, spending time with yourself, figuring out what you want, what you don't want. But honestly, it's no better way to learn yourself or even learn your own flaws than being in a relationship. I thought I had everything figured out, and this is probably a video for another day, but I thought I had everything figured out with like what I wanted and, me, myself as an individual, and my flaws and what I can work on and how I can serve others. I thought I had it all figured out until I got into a relationship. Even reading my word more and stuff like that, it was just like so much development happened once I got in a relationship. Not saying that development can't happen when you're single, but I do feel like obviously nobody's perfect. We're always evolving, and it's just certain things that you're not going to be able to explore until you get with someone who has a literal different, they're a different person. They have different perspective on things. They have different outlooks on things. Obviously, if this is someone that you want to be with, you guys will have similar views, but it's not always going to be the same. So while you're single, definitely rediscover yourself. But I think also, especially if you're a Christian, reading your word, figuring out how to be a better human being within yourself, and also how to deal with adversity, that is so important. And it's something that I wish that I would have done more when I was single, because So for me, being single and not dating was such a moment of self-discovery. I was able to learn from other people's situations. So like I said, I had a group of girlfriends, and they would often tell me about their dating experiences, and I just really learned from them. I'm the type that I do not have to go through something to learn a lesson. So if somebody tells me something and it didn't work out in their favor, I'm able to learn from that, and I am so blessed for those type of lessons. It's so freeing to be single, and also not date. It's like you literally just have your own company and yourself. Obviously, it's time where you are able to really cultivate your relationship with your girlfriends and just really dive into the women that you want to be in your space. When you progress in life and you get a family and stuff like that, it's just, honestly, it's a good time. And I just feel like a lot of women should do it more. I feel like if you find yourself being single and you always need a male, somebody to talk to or something like that, try to just not have any male companions. I'm also a girl who does not have male friends, so that can be a little bit different for everybody, but I don't have male friends, so me not talking to guys at all was pretty easy for me. Like I said, I am a girl that can definitely be in the house and entertain herself. I also was speaking with my best friend. We always have these really deep girl chats, and sometimes there are chats with her mom or her mother-in-law, and we were kind of talking, and they were like, well, Bree, what's going on? And at that moment, I'm like, I have accepted that I'm gonna be single, and it's okay. I'm happy by myself. Like, it's nothing wrong with me being by myself. Of course, I would love to meet someone, but I don't want to settle. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not happy, and it just has to be right. And I haven't found the right person, so I'm just going to accept the place that I'm in. And a little bit after me telling my best friend that I found who is now my partner. So I just want to tell you ladies, if you have been single for an extended period of time, definitely try to be single without any romance. I feel like that's really when you kind of test your strengths and you're able to really tap into yourself and learn so much about yourself. Also, if you're not happy by yourself, being in a relationship is not going to make you happy. You're going to go into this relationship and the happiness is going to be temporary, but you'll find yourself going back into your unhappiness. And one thing about it, when you go into a relationship, you want to be happy on your own. What if that relationship doesn't work out and now you're newly single again? You need to be able to be comfortable with going back to that space. I feel like it's so much peace knowing, like I said, as a Christian girl, that I have God first and foremost, and also that I have myself, because I know that Bree, single Bree, has been okay. She's been okay before. She will be okay after. I feel like even though I am in a relationship, I always try to strive to have my own thing going on, my own hobbies, making sure that on my own as an individual, I am okay. Whether that's financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, I always try to make sure that I am okay on my own as Brianna. Being single for 3 years and not dating was honestly some of the best years of my life. I am so grateful for that time, and like I said, God has been so good to me. I was able to have so many experiences during that time that with a partner I probably would have had some distractions, and God knows what's best. So he's always going to isolate you when needed, but also, give you that help or send those people along the way. Like I said, whether it's a platonic friend or a romantic relationship, he'll always send somebody in your path when you need it the most. I learned a long time ago that you cannot always have somebody there with you. It's going to be a time in life that you're going to have to go by yourself, whether that's elementary school, whether that's middle school or high school, going off to college without anybody from your high school, any of your high school friends. At some point, you're going to have to go. When I went off to college, I did things that I loved and that I wanted to do, like joining the step team. None of my friends were going to join the step team. I wanted to do it for myself, so I went alone. I did not make any friends on that step team. It was just something that I truly did because I wanted to do it. And I was there by myself, content and happy. So if you don't take anything from this video, just make sure that you are content and happy with yourself, no matter whether you're in a relationship or not, because that is critical to get you through this lifetime. So I hope this was a good chat for you girls. I definitely have been wanting to make this video for a very long time, so I'm glad that I came and did it finally and talked with you girls about being single in your single season. I pray that your single season blesses you and equips you with the tools that you need to survive this crazy life. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.